Hey, um, it's funny, hold up. Because um, my father was like, man, don't get too carried away. As soon as I said, man, I'm a beast, something like that, I said I'm a beast, he cut the video off. There has to be respect there. Why? Because he have respect. He is respected. He is respect. And I'm not the man you need to respect, but what I come with, the words I speak, bring life. I don't care what you looking at. Just smoke one, yes, I'm a little, yes. Whatever you say. Is that going to change something? That changed me right there then, didn't it? Or did it change you? The way you perceive something, did that change you? Let me move on, man.
I, the one who speaks in the prophets, am here with you, speaking to you. Some people in the crowd started to gather stones together in order to pummel him.
There you go. They seen something to throw it.
And tried to arrest him and deliver him over to the people. Mm-hmm. But because the time for him to be handed up had not yet come, they failed to apprehend him. The Lord, therefore, of his own, eluded their grasp and got away from them. One Sabbath day, at about that time, Jesus...
That didn't happen a few times. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It applies on a manifold. A lot of different levels.
Jesus was cutting through some wheat fields. As they walked along, his hungry disciples started picking some of the heads, rubbing them between their hands, and eating the grains.
That's me just speaking directly, and just the disciples are who? The ones ministering unto me. For if you are the Lord of hosts, then you have to understand, what are you hosting? You? If you think I'm here to host you, then you ain't even here who I'm talking to. You just there. Well, there's an understanding there. And that's who I'm speaking to. I'm speaking unto myself, a part of understanding. If you don't understand, then you need to stop thinking and just listen.
When some of the Pharisees saw what they were doing, they prodded Jesus. Look, your followers are breaking the Sabbath. Why are you and your disciples doing what's unlawful on the Sabbath day? Have you never read what David did?
How much do I never, nigga, I don't never do that to bring edification to somebody or to look and seem a certain type of way. When I was operating under that, I operated under that. And I moved accordingly. But see, that's all for men. Everything y'all do is for me. That's the heavy note. I don't care. I don't pick up nothing. I don't plan nothing most of the time. I just get on here and I speak to you truth. So take every bit of it and get on here and call me a liar. Say you a liar. This ain't that. That ain't this. I would love it. Why? Because I would look at you like there's a lie going on somewhere and it ain't here. So let's move on.
When he and his companions were hungry and lacking, Jesus explained, he entered into the house of God during the days of Abiathar the high priest, and they ate of the consecrated bread. He also shared some with his companions. He and his friends ate of that sacred bread, which was prohibited to them, but authorized for the priests alone. Have you not also read in the law that on the Sabbath the priests who serve in the temple profane that day and remain undefiled? I say to you that someone greater than the temple is here. If only you had known.
Where we at? 8 minutes. I listened all the way up to like 20-something minutes, so I'll just play it up into there.
What was meant by the words, I long for mercy and not sacrifice, you would not have passed sentence against those who have committed no crime. The Sabbath was designed for the sake of mankind, Jesus explained, and not mankind for the sake of the Sabbath.
That was for you. Not even the adopted sons, just for mankind. Who is that? Oh, man. Even, oh, man.
So the Son of Man is indeed Lord even over the Sabbath. And at that he went away. That same day he saw someone doing work on the Sabbath, and he said to him, Sir, if you understand what you are doing, then you are to be commended. But if not, then curse you. You are nothing but a lawbreaker.
See how Christ handled that? If you are da 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 da. But if you are, that's how you speak things. You don't say this fool don't know nothing and you just being a fool that don't know nothing in response. Because you ain't hearing nothing. That's just what Christ tell you. These are the breaks.
At another time, on another Sabbath, he entered into their synagogue and started to teach. Now a man was there whose right hand had withered. Some Pharisees and scribes among them were looking for grounds upon which to bring charges against Jesus.
Pharisees and scribes, these are writers and toilers of the hand. I'm ignorant with the pen. We know this. But there's a form of a scribe in the spiritual aspect. That's the form of like Ezra and people who are scribes. David was a form of a scribe, but we're not gonna get into all of that. Let's stay right where we at. Okay? You have to understand that these.
So they watched him carefully to see if he would heal the man on the Sabbath day.
The toiling of the hand, his right hand had withered when Christ has the 7 what in his right hand? What do people look to see Christ wield with that right hand? Why do they think he's big-headed because he's Christ? Because it's something that they would be probably big-headed about. It's good that I don't care. Where people care too much. Where's carelessness? Where you just good in the arms of grace. You talk about being happy and people speak of these things, but that's according to the flesh. Where is the carelessness? Everybody cares so much. And what do you care so much about? If you're going to care so much, because I care, I'm here, right? I'm here caring about what? Something beneficial for the whole collective. Something that I've been saying is not mine own. I've been a bond servant. That's what that means. You are a bond servant. You are slaves unto Christ. You're crucified in your flesh to sin. You're by grace, you are brought from sin into slavery in Christ. What does that mean? That means sit down somewhere saying you are put under my foot. Let me sit up here in the throne in your heart, which is the tabernacle of David. It's simple. Simple. Because why? Because there's also a tabernacle in the temple that's supposed to be getting rebuilt. We understand these things in the physical. That's the physical. That's the flesh. But see, when we move on from that, we're operating in another realm. And then there's another one there that I don't even know about, but I know about. Because my Father showed me. And he bring me to these understandings. I don't think, just listen.
This stonemason cried out for relief. I was once a worker of stone and earned my way with these 2 hands. Jesus, I implore you, please heal me, that I might not be reduced to begging for my food and shame.
Worker of stone, what does that mean? I came by the law. I gave up things. I just laid them down. Everything. It ain't no joke. I don't care if you believe it or not. I don't think. Just listen.
But Jesus was aware of their thoughts and said to the man with the withered hand, Get up, stand right here before the crowd. He therefore rose and stood nearby. Is it lawful to heal on...
I stood up and did all that when nobody was on the... I was going to do it again. That would have been funny. But...
On the Sabbath day, they asked him, I will put the question to you like this, Jesus countered. Which act done on the Sabbath day is in line with the law? To perform an act of kindness or to commit an act of wickedness? To save someone's life or destroy it. But they did not answer him.
He just broke that down. Now I see why he wanted me to fire up the little half a blunt. Why? Because now people can come to the understanding. What was that man's intentions why he did that? I didn't plan that. I don't care if you believe it, don't think, just listen. What was that man's intentions? Was he intending to bring to you a gift? Was he intended to bring life unto you, or was he intended to do wickedly? That's all you gotta ask. What's the fruits of his? What kind of fruits growing from his tree? What you getting? Is it something good that you can bite into? Does it bring me some life? If I can just get a little of it and take it over here, don't gotta tell nobody. Nobody want to say nothing. But you're there, just there. Why are we waiting? What are we waiting for?
Should any of you have but a single sheep, Jesus asked, and it should slip into a ditch on the Sabbath, would you not take hold and pull it out? How much more precious is a human being than a sheep? For this reason, it is lawful to perform an act of mercy on the Sabbath day.
His mercies are new every morning. Quote me on that, but not right now. Just listen.
He looked out indignantly over them all, thoroughly pained at their unyielding hearts. Reach out your hand, he said to the man. The man then did as he was told, and his hand was completely restored and was every bit as good as the other. But the people seethed with rage and began discussing among themselves just what they ought to do to him. The Pharisees and the Herodians then went out and started devising a scheme to murder Jesus. Sensing this, Jesus left that place with his followers and went out to the lake, and a great crowd from Galilee followed after him. When they heard about all that he...
We're in the lake right now. We ain't in the sea out here, but we swimming in the lake right now.
He was doing. Throngs of people came...
I think.
Came out to him from Judea, Jerusalem, Idumea, the regions beyond the Jordan, and all around Tyre and Sidon. And he healed those who were sick among them, charging them not to reveal who he was. He asked his disciples to ready a little boat for him.
I told all of y'all not to tell me nothing. I told all of y'all not to tell me nothing. Pretty much. I don't think of, just listen.
On account of the crowds, to keep the people from crushing him. He had healed so many, you see, that the diseased were shoving their way through to but touch him. Every time the wicked spirits caught sight of him, they would fall down before him and shout, "You are God's son." But he strictly ordered them not to tell anyone who he was. All of this came to pass in order to fulfill what had been spoken through Isaiah the prophet. "This one is my chosen servant, my beloved, the one in whom I take delight. My spirit will I rest on him, and he will reveal justice to the nations. He will not argue or cry aloud, nor will his voice be heard in the streets. He will not so much as snap a damaged reed, or put out even a smoldering wick."
See, there's manifold wisdom right there. I'm sure of it, and we're gonna bring it unto God. We're going to bring it unto God, so we're not worried about it. Why? Because I don't care. I don't care what you think I should do, or what you think you should be doing, or what you think you're doing, because it only matters if we doing the same thing in mind. If we got the same thing in mind while we doing it, that's all that matters. That's it. With that, we out of there. We out of there. That's it. Just that's what repenting is. It's just turning from a thought that you got, or understanding, or a way of acting. It's a repentance. Why? Because it's for the betterment. It's something that's better for you, man. It's like I was thinking about this earlier today. People either want to be God all the way and be the Antichrist. That's when they Antichrist. You want to be God all the way and have rule in things and have that power. You can't not care and be God. That's the hardest thing to do, by the way. And then you other than that, you just don't want God to exist at all. These the type of people we got out here right now. These are the type of people you walk up to and speak. When you speaking in the Holy Spirit and you reading you're reading yourself and your perception in their mind. So you kind of get an understanding of how you're energetically coming off to them. That's the empath. There's empathy there. I can put myself outside of myself in your shoes and feel how I would feel if I was you while I'm talking to you. So for me, it's not easy to stand outside of myself. Why? Because I never was full of myself like that. I just like to dress a lot and look good. But see, I look better right now with my eyes closed.
Until he guides justice to its conquest, all the nations will trust in his name. In those days, Jesus went into the hills to pray and to petition God the whole night through. And even as the morning dawned, he called his hand-picked disciples.
It's 3:33. By the way, I will show you, but just don't think. Just listen. That's real talk right there, man. That's not a lie. I done spoke to you. Not one. Not one. Apply it to yourself. I am alive through everybody who holds the Spirit of God. You hold the Spirit of God, then you hold the Holy Spirit that will minister unto you. When you test these things, you can't test me just by what I'm saying. I can't speak by nothing that I ain't seen or understood some type of way. And
to himself, and selected 12 from among them, and appointed them, designating them as his apostles, that they might travel with him, possess the power to cast out demons, and to be sent out to speak. This man named Jesus, who was about 30 years old, has sent us. The 12 he appointed were Simon, the one he named Peter, and Andrew, his brother, James, the son of Zebedee, and his brother John, upon whom he bestowed the name Boanerges, which means the sons of thunder. Also Philip, Bartholomew, Thomas, James, son of Alphaeus, Simon, also known as the Zealot, James's son Judas, also called Thaddeus, and Judas Iscariot, who became a turncoat and betrayed him.
A turncoat. See, I'm totally in folly right now, and I'm right where I'm supposed to be according to different understandings. Why? Because I'm at the cross, waving them in. Standing right at the cross of an understanding and an over 1818 recording on this video. I don't know why I do it, but I know why I do it. For it means something to me, and it's going to mean something to you, or it's not. I don't care. Just don't think about it. Just listen. Write it down. Test it. And then come tell me I'm stupid. It's going to be a I'm stupid day. And I'm going to text you back and say, I'm stupid. Yes, I am. For if stupid lives with me, then it has a home. But stupid ain't got no home around here. It ain't had one in a long time. Because I ain't listening to nothing stupid.
He went down with them and arrived at a level place and stood.
Stupid. That's a level place. Just by the way.
Many of his students were there. A sizable multitude from all parts of Judea, Jerusalem, and the coastal cities of Tyre and Sidon was there as well.
Yep.
All had come to hear him speak and to be healed of their diseases. Those who were afflicted by evil spirits were delivered from them, and they were trying to touch him, for power was flowing from him and healing each and every one of them. And seeing such enormous masses, he went up the mountainside, seated himself, and his disciples gathered around him. He looked out over his followers and began to speak to them, teaching them, "Blessed are the needy and the poor in spirit, for the kingdom of God is comprised of them. Blessed are you who are crying now, for you are all about to laugh. Blessed are those who lament, for their consolation is drawing near. Blessed are you who are hungry now, for you are to be satisfied.
Starving. Still. He show you you didn't. He show you 2020. He show you you didn't got it all. You didn't got it all, and then you do what? Give it all back to him. Men want you to show them things. Meanwhile, they waking up this morning. Meanwhile, they waking up this morning.
Blessed are the humble, for they will inherit the earth.
Excuse my approach, for I'm not going to apologize to you. God ain't dumb. God ain't blind. Think you're going to send an arrogant fool out here to talk to you and then he's still going to bless him? No, God ain't. What did it say? So is Christ up? Man, I got to quote it right, so I ain't going to even quote it.
Blessed are those who hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the compassionate, for they will be shown compassion. Blessed are the pure of heart, for they will see God. Blessed are those who aid in reconciliation, for they are to bear the name children of God. Blessed are those who are hunted down on account of their virtue, for they comprise the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they whose hearts have suffered greatly, for they have come to know the Father. Blessed are they who go without food, that the bellies of others might be filled. Blessed is the one who has told...
What's the food? What's the 10% Melchizedek get from Abraham after slaying the kings? What are the kings? That's consciousness. That's the beliefs you hold and these things that's standing on you according to the laws. Why you still holding them? I didn't came a long way. 22. Look at me, man. Y'all need to look at me. Because this don't need to look like no... This don't need to look like no... what you call it? Like a movie. But... Because we ain't even shot screen action yet. We in script writing. We script writing because we script writing in the script. Right, it's already wrote already. It's already laid out. So we just walking and the script just coming and just appearing while we're walking. It's just appearing unto itself. You don't have to do nothing. You don't have to do nothing to bring it to you, but just bring it to you. I gotta do something to bring it to you, though.
Spoiled and found life.
I gotta look like something. I gotta sound like something. Vanity.
Blessed are the chosen ones who work alone, for you will discover the kingdom, since it's from that place that you came forth, and to that place
Facts.
You will be restored.
Facts.
Blessed are those who came into being prior to this existence.
Those are my brothers. I love them, even though we speak differently. I have something I have to do for you, and you have something you have to do for me. And we're going to get there. I don't know where there is, but there's a there. So, we're on the way too.
For though they came down to this realm, they will again exist eternally. For if you become a student of mine and examine my sayings closely, the very stones will become your servants. For there are 5 trees in paradise that remain for you alone. They do not change from summer to winter, and their leaves are never shed. Anyone who knows of these will not ever taste of death. Truly, you are blessed when they detest you, exclude you, insult you, hunt you down, and defame you.
Do I look worried? Do I look aggravated? You be looking at me, and I know you be saying that you see yourself in me when you're angry or upset or hurt or something. But you don't think. Just listen. Just listen.
Making yours an evil name, casting it aside, and hurling every malicious and lying word against you, and all of it on my account, for the sake of the Son of Man. For whatever form your persecution takes, no basis will be found for it, and wherever persecution has befallen you, no standing is to be afforded. Celebrate and jump for joy, for beyond measure is the reward that awaits you in the heavens. This, you see, was the way their forefathers treated those who were prophets before you. But woe to the rich, for your comfortable days are behind you now. Woe to you.
What are the rich? The ones who been doing that for the longest. They ain't gave up nothing. They just, in they own little habit, this is what they gonna do. They ain't giving up this and that. They can't stop it for nothing. Not even to give it up just for a day. Man, you don't even understand. It's grace out here, fam. The best time to get grace is to be graceful. How do you do that? It's by having and don't covet. That means you can have it right there. The thought could come in your mind and you have all the means to carry it out, but you choose to wait a couple of days and just ask God to show you something. And you just move graciously about it. And then grace is going to be there. Why? Because you brought it. It didn't have to answer. It's like, hey, we're here. So give it an order. Give it an order too. Give it an order too. But just don't order too. Don't order too. You feel me? Give it an order too. But don't order too. For what are you doing? If you reaping something unto your of the flesh, of the world, that means you're reaping death. Why? Because we're trying to raise Christ in you too. But really for the brethren, the ones who I'm on the cross foes, something I gotta do that I'm out of line and they out of line too, and we gotta get in line, or we just both in line. I can't speak. I gotta find that right way of respect, of reproach, mutually. See? So it is something, and he spoke in this too. It said they want to bring the king down. When he said he's speaking, he told everybody not to say nothing to the king. Look at me. These are the thoughts by myself. Yeah, I'm your king. And here when me and the Lord and God is in here speaking and we're ministering unto one another. And I'm here just trying to write it all down and get it all in my pea brain. Without spilling and being careless. Talking about some power. Who power? What power are you talking about? Let that go and you grab onto Christ, and that gets you everything. So my power gonna be holding on to that one thing right there. That's that rock. For with that rock you get everything, and I still don't want nothing more than the rock, because with that comes more completeness in me. We bring in completeness. There's a raising going on out here. And it's been going on out here. So we just finna go. We step back here and we finna walk. Just outside with our shirt off. But just comfortable as can be.
You are well fed now, for you are all about to starve. Woe to you who are laughing now, for you are about to howl and lament. Woe to you who are acclaimed by men, for that is exactly how their forefathers spoke of the false prophets. You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt should lose its taste, What is there to season it? It is then no longer fit for anything but to be thrown into the dirt and trampled by men. You are illumination to this world, a well-defended city, sitting high up on a mountain, cannot be hid, nor indeed can it be sacked. Also, no one lights a lamp and sets it under a grain bucket.
I can't keep quiet. I can't. Don't ask me why I keep talking. I can't keep quiet about it.
Instead, they place it high on a stand, and it enlightens all who are in that house. Let your light shine on all of mankind, that they might appreciate the goodness in the work that you are doing, and likewise bring honor to your Father in the heavens. Now do not suppose that my coming nullifies the law or the prophets.
Here we go. There you go, law guys. Let's go with the law firm. I love you very much, for the law was the law, and the law still is the law. For those in the courtroom, bringing judgment or getting judged. People be the judge and get judged. How you do that? Where you do that at?
My coming does not annul them, but rather completes them. I am telling you the simple truth when I say that not so much as a single jot or the tiniest mark will be overlooked in the law, but every detail is to be worked out until heaven and earth pass out of existence. So, whoever voids the least of these commandments and teaches others to do the same will be despised in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever puts these teachings to work will be exalted in the kingdom of heaven. Believe me when I tell you that you will never get into the kingdom of the skies unless your virtue outshines that of the Pharisees and scribes.
Virtue. How you want me to do this? How we gonna do this? Well, we're gonna do manifold. Let me open this. Let's look up virtue in here, and then let's see where that coordinates in the scriptures. For this is too much. This is for you. For we have to go to the law to speak to the lawman. So you pray that your virtue outweighs. Let's quote.
Do not suppose that my coming nullifies the law or the prophets. My coming does not annul them, but rather completes them.
Completes. It doesn't annul them, but it brings into completion what that form of understanding, because there's a way by law and understanding that there's understanding by you as well, that comes the end of the law sometime. And it's around the time that it's coming, and it came already. For the ones who then came already. That's the best I can say. That's the best I can put it. That's what's there. Because it's the truth. Now, virtue. Virtues. We got virtue and virtues. You have, look at some of the most wisest books. These are where the ones who had a lot of knowledge, them hidden mysteries and things, completions. That's the Maccabees, 4th Maccabees, 3rd Maccabees. Well, that might not be. Wait, they do have. Yeah. That's Maccabees. And the Wisdom of Solomon, 4 and 1. This is childlessness with virtue. For in the memory of virtue is, that's 4 and 1, Wisdom of Solomon. 5 and 13, it says, and we had no sign of virtue too, had been adorned with every virtue. In the next verse, they say we had no sign of virtue to something. And then the next verse, in 3rd Maccabee says, had been adorned with every virtue, the praise of the highest virtue, who died for the sake of virtue, over the emotions. That's 4th Maccabees 1 and 3. It's 4 MC, because I know this got this big old coordinates. It got the apocryphal book and NRSV and the KJV. Any suffering for the sake of virtue shall have the prize of virtue. Alone or invisible where virtue. It's a lot of things that speak about virtue. That
I'm telling you the simplest goodness in the work that you are doing, and likewise bring honor to your Father in the heavens. Now do not suppose that my coming nullifies the law or the prophets. My coming does not annul them, but
annul them. Annul them means bring them to nothing. That means it doesn't. You can't add to the law, and you can't subtract from the law. You can't come in there and say, "Oh, the law's done. It's over now." Like, who are you? I have to admit that I'm not all inglorious at this moment. That people want to expect to see. For the scriptures speak about these things, and not just I as this fleshly man. I as the man that's in the back seat. For I have to speak like that, so I won't just come to you and tell you Jesus Christ saying it. For then you'll really look at me stupid more than I say I, when really I know I'm doing it and I'm getting done by it. We doing it and we getting done by it. So don't think. Just listen.
rather completes them. I'm telling you the simple truth when I say that not so much as a single jot or the tiniest mark will be overlooked in the law, but every detail is to be worked out until heaven and earth pass out of existence. So, whoever voids the least of these commandments and teaches others to do the same will be despised in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever puts these teachings to work will be exalted in the kingdom of heaven. Believe me when I tell you that you will never get into the kingdom of the skies unless your virtue outshines that of the Pharisees and scribes.
Now let's define virtue real quick. Get the Strongs. And the Hebrew meaning. I think it's like showing you got good morale. You got good ethics. Let's virtue. I want the Strongs. Okay. In traditional Christian angelology, the seventh highest order of the ninefold celestial hierarchy. And that's where I learned. I'm gonna give you, man. Look, when I was going up towards the violet flame inside of my conscious, I'm getting like, it's like I'm getting pulled up. It feels like you're actually rising up, like you're getting shot through. I can't explain it, but I'm gonna explain it, for it needs to be explained. I was rising through portals. I was rising. I was beaming up amongst the stars in my mind, so much that my whole body was responsive of it and aware of it, of something that I was consciously aware that was happening while I'm going through it, because the Holy Spirit doesn't take you through nothing blind. And if you blind, then you need it to be till she open your eyes, because she show you why your blindness was really, you was really seeing better when you blind. Why? Because you got two sets of eyes, fam. Don't think about it. Just listen. Don't you crucify the flesh. You spirit eyes. You see different. Come on, catch up. It's It's a new way of looking at things. Literally, you are looking at them as a brand new thing. Nothing correlates with this other thing unless it's been shown to you in this thing. So you start like a baby over here. You ain't seen nothing unless you've seen something. And that's all you done seen until you see something more or something else. And then you decide which one that you don't decide. Whichever one you could choose, you don't choose. You just you just accept that you have a choice. Even if you don't choose to do anything. For if you choose to do that, then God knew that you was going to be doing that at that moment. So who's to say you chose wrong? Who's to say you chose wrong but a man? Who is a judge and getting judged? So, speaking of the violet flame, I'm not going to speak of it with arrogance, but I'm not going to bite my tongue. For after I got to that place, and before the white room, I spoke of this a couple times, but I'm going to tell you the truth once we get there, because you're going to laugh at me and you're going to call me retarded, but it's the truth. And I laughed at myself. 4141. All right. Once I got to the, because first it was like me sitting to the back seat. I had to let Christ actually take the wheel, because it was like some waters. That's the beginning of it. I seen waters floating between my eyes. I seen two swirls going between my eyes. It looked like the infinity. I told this whole story to someone the day it happened, but I'm not gonna bring them into that. For they didn't already been brought and changed by it. So I'm just trying not to change people, except if it's for the better. For I would change you quick if I knew I can change you quick for the better. Who's better? Whatever you say is better.
You have heard that it was said, "Do not kill, and every murderer will be judged for it." But I am telling you now that anyone who harbors anger against his brother without just cause will be judged for it. Moreover, anyone who says to his brother, "You contemptible person," will have to answer to the Sanhedrin. But anyone who calls you a fool is right on the brink of the fires of Gehenna. For this reason, even if you are at the altar presenting your offering, and in the process recall that your brother has a grievance against you, put it down before the altar and go work things out first with your brother. Only then should you return and present your gift. You should try and settle things even as your enemy is dragging you to court.
Done that. Not arrogantly, but I done been there. That's how I can speak like this, because I done came to a lot of people and tried to figure out what was wrong, and tried to figure out, and you know what was wrong? They was wrong. And I was wrong too. For keep making them wrong. For I should have just let them be right. We all could have just been right.
Otherwise, he might place you into the hands of the judge. And
there it is, right there. What does that mean? Who the judge, though?
Judge into the custody of the bailiff, who may in turn throw you into prison. I say to you, most assuredly, you will not be let out until you have paid back the last cent.
The last cent. For that's me getting understand too. For there's a last cent. And you have to be done gave up a whole lot to be down to your last cent. You got 1 cent left that's holding in your hand, and Christ can't hold you, and God can't hold, everybody can't hold on without a little bitty piece of that little penny in your hand.